Hey, what is up, team? Hopefully, you are having a phenomenal day on this lovely, lovely Wednesday, the recording of this. I'm going to share this with you because I was talking to some people and we're running all into a lot of problems when it comes to similar problems too, which is really, really cool. When it comes to planning, prepping, making meals, doing the things, and kind of falling into either old patterns or falling back into something that, like, hey, this is at least something I can do now. At least I missed this thing, I'm going to do this. Or if I didn't make my meals, at least I could do this. Something like that. And I want to share this with you why I have this campground here is I want to have a little bit of a kumbaya, a little bit of like a, hey, team, there might be something that we can do instead of how we're doing things now, or at least how you're thinking of doing things, that can lead you to get better results. And that's what I ultimately want. I want you guys to get amazing results, and I want to hear to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. So when I say all this stuff, I say this to say, if some of these things pertain to you and you catch yourself wanting to defend yourself, recognize that the reality is I'm just here to serve and help you. And I've seen some of these patterns come up, and these are ultimately patterns that are slowing you down. And so be open to, like, okay, I need to do something a little bit different, because the reality is we are all a summation of your actions, beliefs, habits, knowledge, and processes. Meaning is that if somebody goes from this to this, I know a couple things. I know that one, that's a DirecTV remote. But two is that I know that this individual here does not eat in a calorie deficit, or at least hasn't gotten to a point to where they are in a calorie deficit enough to be fit. They don't exercise often. They probably don't value their health as much as the people on the right. Does that have anything to do with them as an individual? No. It has everything to do with their processes, habits, knowledge, beliefs, and actions, right? It has everything to do with that. And so if you are somebody that is on the left, that wants to be something on the right, or if you're somebody on the right that wants to be like somebody on the left, you have to have different thoughts, beliefs, actions, processes, and habits to get there, right? The person on the right clearly has to stop exercising. They clearly need to put a shirt on, okay? Or another example, to become a custodian to a registered nurse, does it not take more skill, different habits, different beliefs, different processes and actions? As a good example, Jane's, I think that's her name. We're going to call her Jane because I don't know. Okay, Jane here on the left didn't have to go to school to be a custodian, but she did have to go to school to be a nurse. And she had to go to further school to be a nurse practitioner. And then she probably had to be going to further school to be a trauma surgery. So somebody that does trauma surgery, which means that she values education more than if she were to stay stuck as a custodian. Yes? This is not weird. This makes perfect sense. You also have to invest in your education. Not only do you value it, but you have to invest in it. You probably have to spend more time studying than as a custodian would to become a nurse practitioner that does trauma surgery. Yes? Same thing with health and fitness, is that if we are doing things that one area does that another area does not do, it's going to make it really challenging to get there. Okay? And some of the common things that we run into for what we're going to figure out what we're eating for the week, or literally what we do eat for the week, is not knowing what to eat, not planning, not grocery shopping, not prepping, not tracking, not measuring, which results in not hitting targets, which results in unpredictable results at best, at worst, fat going up, stagnation, weight going down when you're trying to build muscle. And so all of these keys are important for us to make sure that we're doing. Because as an example, let's say you did all this stuff, but you're not planning your meals. It's really hard. I should say it's really hard. It's harder. Of course, I picked the one that's the easiest one to kind of defend. If you're not planning your meals, can you still hit your targets? Yes, absolutely. Is it harder? Yeah, because you don't know if you have the right amount of food you need to get, which means you need to go buy food, which means you need to then go make the food, which then takes a lot longer, which then leads us to, well, I'll just go get Chipotle because I know that's good. I'll just get Chick-fil-A because I know that's good. I'll go get a salad from Salad and Go. If you guys have one of those, they're pretty bomb. Okay, but I'll do those things just in place of it because, hey, I can do that. But then that leads to eating out often. And what happens if wherever you're at when you're doing this doesn't have that? Then you see what I'm saying? You see how much so much harder. It's so much harder. And so another one, let's say if we don't know what we're going to eat, like I'll just eat like plain, I'll pick blah, 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 and I'll just eat that. Well, that's fine. Terrible? No. But like then we start running into like, I don't really like what I'm eating. And then it's going to not want us plan. It's not going to make us plan because what we're planning sucks. And then when we grocery shop, we're going to be tempted because the food that we are planning to eat sucks. And then when we prep it, like then we're prepping, we don't, you see what I'm saying? You see how this can be a problem. So with all these things, there's a different frame I want you to look at. Because oftentimes what happens is somebody will go, I'm going to do this. And if it doesn't work, I'll do this. Having a fallback is great, but what if instead we went on the offense? Because some people go like, hey, if defense wins championships, I might say that's fine, but you can't win if you don't score points. So if you just focus on defense, meaning like, oh, if this doesn't happen, then I'll do this, then I'll do this, then I'll do this. Instead of fortifying your offensive to do the things you need to do, you're going to find yourself in defense mode all the time. And that's fine because it's probably true. Defense wins championships. It's probably true. But you can't win if you don't score the points either. So, having a fallback, if I don't have food, I'll go eat this place, is good, is okay, after you've already built contingencies around your initial with an extra I plan. Okay, so as an example, not knowing what I want to eat. Well, there's two things, and all these things are things I can think of that might get in the way. Now, there's other things, send me a message and we'll go over how to go over them. Okay, so we can build an offense around sticking to it versus us having a fallback of I'll just go have a simple, a frozen meal that I found somewhere. Or I'll have this instead and hope that it fits my targets. Okay, two of them. What foods can I eat and what is healthy? Those are the two things I think people run into. Solutions. This is typically how things go down when it comes to what foods do I want to eat or not knowing what I want to eat. Somebody goes, what sounds good? What is it made of? Does it hit my targets? Yes or no? Not what. I copied it obviously, but does it hit my targets? Yes or no? If it does, yay. If it doesn't, oh. Instead, what if we thought like this? What meals do I like? Pizza, pasta, Chipotle, burgers, Chinese food, whatever meals. I like roast or something. I don't like roast, but roast beef sandwiches, whatever the thing might be, okay? What do I enjoy? Then we go to, what is it made of? Okay, so let's say in this case, pizza. What's pizza made of? Well, pizza is made of dough, cheese, tomato paste for the sauce, right, marinara, the toppings, that's pizza. Okay, how can I mock it? Meaning, how can I make it from the list that I have? Now, depending on what phase you're in, phase 1, 2, or 3, you might have a little bit difficulty, especially in phase 2, to do that. Thank God it's only 2 weeks, okay? But let's assume you're in phase 1. How can I mock it? Or in phase 3, can you have it right out the gate? Yeah, but how can I modify it to hit my targets? That might be the other problem that we're running into is you like pizza, but as you'll see in a second, it's pretty challenging to hit your targets on some typical pizza. So you go, okay, cool. How can I modify it? That's the game. Another way of thinking of it is, it's not a matter of if I can eat it, it is how can I eat it? How can I have it? And recognize that old version of what you've done in the past is here. The I'm super duper healthy, strict, I'm following a fad diet is here. We want to be somewhere in the middle. Somewhere where it's like we're not quite to where we used to be. We're not in fad diet territory. We're in the middle. So in this example, if we use pizza, one slice of pizza's on average, not all of them, but on average, is 285 calories and 112 grams of protein. Versus this barbecue chicken pizza, which in phase 3 you absolutely can have in 2 weeks, 2 weeks in phase 3. You can have it in the first 2 weeks. Okay, it's lavash bread, fat-free cheese. 3 weeks, sorry. So lavash bread, fat-free cheese, onions, red onion, and turkey. Now, this one, 285 calories, 12, my barbecue chicken pizza, 440 calories, 72 grams of protein. Do you see how it's not quite pizza? Because it's not quite pizza. But it's also not pizza. It's not like pizza in a bowl with a salad. It's not that. But it's this. And doesn't that sound appetizing? I can tell you, it is. It's very good. Recognize that different is good because the usual is why you're here. And so when we go, oh, but this is different than what I'm used to doing. Yeah, that's exactly right. You're 100% right. And that's why it's good. Because if it was like normal, like you're all the day, all time, yeah, that's what got you here, right? Remember, summation of you. Thoughts, beliefs, actions, knowledge, processes. Those things. And if you don't change them, or worse, you change them for a season, then go back to what you did before, that's why the weight's going to come back. Okay. So now that we knocked out not knowing what to eat, not planning is up on deck. Why are we not planning meals? Well, time. Feels like it takes a long time. Okay, time to do it. Feels like it takes a long time to do it. Boredom of eating the same thing all the time. Desire, don't really feel like it. Not sure what you like. And not sure when to plan. These things with scheduling, what time, I don't have time, whatever it might be. Okay, here's the solutions. Time. You won't find it. You're not going to find time. Time happens. And through the vacuum of being a parent and somebody who is a high value individual, people will take your time and things will take your time if you don't make time. You're going to have to create time. Audit what you're doing. In the morning, I talked to somebody today. They felt like they're always behind. I'm always like 20 minutes behind what I feel like I need to be. 30 minutes. So I'm always chasing the day. And then I go to bed late, trying to get stuff done from earlier, but I'm pissed about it, don't do it as well. And I go to bed angry, wake up the next day, and start the whole thing over again. All right, well, why don't we start our day with a little bit different intention? Why don't we set your morning up, or the time you wake up for success for the day, so you don't have 10,000 things you do, you just do a couple things. And that long list of 20, 30 things is going to be done in 2 weeks' time. And we can then collapse time by going, who can we have do stuff? How can we have others help me? Or how can I get this off my plate by not caring about it? Okay? Feels like it takes a long time. It won't get done any faster by not doing it. And you won't get better, right? Let's say it takes you 30 times the planning your meals to get 50% better. And then it takes another 30 to get 50% better from that. That's 60 weeks. It's a long time. But you're going to be here either way. You want to be healthy for a long time, right? Well, you're going to have to be able to plan your meals for a long time. Thank goodness it takes that long. If it only took a second, you'd just be a lazy bum of not getting it done. It's a skill. And just like any skill, you're not good right when you start. You expect like day one to be lifting as much as I lift? If that's the case, your expectations are way high. And that's an amazing thing, and I love that about you. But the reality is, I've been doing this for a really long time. I've been training now since 8th grade. The longest I haven't trained is like a month when I had sciatica. The longest, and even then I did upper body stuff. So for you to go, well, I've been doing this for a year and I still can't do a pull-up, it's like I didn't get a pull-up for like 3 years. So why do you expect to get it done in a year? Right? So you're not going to get it better by taking longer. Boredom, cool. You get to pick your poison then. Are you going to do an A and B schedule? Meaning you're going to eat the same thing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So there's some variety. Are you in A, B, C, where you ate the same thing on Monday and Thursday, Wednesday or Tuesday and Friday, Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday? Or are you going to do A, same breakfast, and then alternate lunches and dinners? Are you going to do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday the same, Tuesday, Thursday the same, Saturday and Sunday the same? So it's different. Are you going to do A, B, A, B, A, C, D? So you eat something different on Sunday. All of it's fine. Just recognize that if you're bored, but planning takes a long time, those are inversely related. Meaning the more variety you have, the longer it takes to prep or to plan and prep, quite honestly. Okay. Desire. If you had to pick some pain today versus forced pain tomorrow, which would you rather have? By not planning your meals, you're not going to hit your targets. By not hitting your targets consistently, you're going to be stuck in the weight longer, which means the pain you started the program with today is going to take longer to get away from. Which would you rather have? Some minor inconvenience today, learn a new skill, or forced pain tomorrow, and you're going to be on medications, be overweight for longer, feel discouraged, and then give up. Which would you rather have, right? Not sure what you like. Refer to number 1. And then stop thinking in terms of healthy and good. Recognize I used pizza as the example. I can use hundreds of different examples if you'd like, right? There's spaghetti. You can eat burgers. You can have chili. You can have so many things, that salads of all sorts. You can have pizza of all sorts. It's just your imagination is what's holding you back, and the diet cult saying things are not good and good. Okay, not sure when to plan. Hey, review your week ahead of time. Sit down and look at what days you are available that you can create time to plan your meals. Okay, and make it a non-negotiable in your week. Okay, worst case, follow pre-built recipes and tweak slightly for targets by putting them in MyFitnessPal. Okay, or whatever tracker we're using. Right now, we're using MyFitnessPal. Okay, now there's pre-built recipes that are in the vault. So head in there and look at them. There's tons of them. I've got 3 recipe books right now. Actually, 4 recipe books, 5 recipe books right now that you can get your hands on if you want. I'm working on a 6th. I finished the air fryer one, but it has a bunch of stuff that's not in phase 1 or phase 2, so I don't really count that one. There's 5 recipe books you get to play with that are totally fit the program with dozens of recipes. I think overall we have over 100, not to mention even supercook.com has recipes on there too. Sit down and do it. Now that we got planning out the way. Grocery shopping, that's the longest one, by the way. So we're going to get flying on these next ones. Grocery shopping. I didn't grocery shop. That's what slowed me down because I didn't have time, or there's multiple stores I shop at. Okay. Now, to get this, schedule it or delivery. Schedule time where you're going to go walk. Again, put it in the schedule, or delivery, and protect your schedule. Multiple stores. Stop doing that. You don't need to go to multiple stores. You don't need to do that. Or you set the multiple stores up for delivery. Or you schedule it. But if you don't have time, then guess what? You got to stop going to multiple stores. Like, don't do that. The store, if you're by you, here's an example. Like, what if there's a sale at one store, but you mostly shop at the other one? Is the $3 you're going to save worth the gas, the trip, the time that you're saving over just going to the store and paying extra so you don't have to waste the time? Now, maybe for you it is, and that's fantastic, and I love that for you. But probably it's not. It's probably not. So don't do that. Or, again, schedule it. Hey, over at whatever, Costco, Winco, whatever, they have a sale on chicken this week. Perfect. Go over there and go grab that then, or get it delivered. Or, go get it for pickup. You can also do that too. Okay? In 2024, where 99% of you guys live, there's no excuse to not have a worst case scenario of you getting your groceries delivered to you, or getting them picked up after someone else walks the store for you for free. Delivery costs, like for Walmart at the time of making this video, it's like $100 for the year, and they'll deliver it to you for free. Okay? Or you can do pickup, and that's literally free. And you can pick it up as early as same day. Sorry, there's a freaking bug flying in here. It's freaking annoying. Even if they aren't perfect produce, gosh, this thing's pissing me off. Okay. Even if they're not perfect produce, you can then take it back. But it only takes a couple minutes to take it back. It's not the same amount of time as you walk around the stores doing all the stuff. And they're typically pretty good. In the hundreds of grocery deliveries that I've done, I've had less than 1% have issues. Seriously, not many. And it's well worth the save time. Okay. Now, not prepping. All right. Not prepping. What are the main reasons? Ran out of time, takes too long, not sure how to cook. Now, schedule it. Notice there's a recurring theme here. Schedule it. Or shorten your variety. So if prepping your meals because you're doing an A, B, C, D, E, F, I think that's 7. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. All the way to G. If you're doing all that, then that's too much variety. You got to shorten your variety. What if I'm bored? Get unbored. Use sauces. Use something else to spice it up. Or find variety elsewhere other than your food. Okay? Because having so much variety in your food leads us towards the pizza, like ice cream, eat whatever you would like thing. Not because it's crazy, but because we have to be practical. Do you want to be healthy long term? Yes? Then you likely are not going to have so much variety in your food because you need to eat foods to make your body run well in the amounts to make it stay that way. Having variety is like juggling multiple things at one time. Very challenging. Impossible? No! But if you're having a hard time now in fat loss, When you get to maintenance and you eat more food, it's going to make it so much easier for you to gain the weight back. Takes too long. Pick less meats. Use different cooking appliances to make your stuff. Have the oven, stove, crock pot, and barbecue running at the same time. Or shorten your variety. Have less stuff that you're making. Use rice in 3 meals instead of 1. Okay. Next, how not sure how to cook it. Follow my cooking 101 video. I've got it on YouTube. I have it in the portal. You can reach it. You can do it. Reach out in the group. If people are like, hey, I'm really struggling with making meals fast. What are some tips that you guys use? Because fun fact, I have ways of doing things. Other people have ways of doing things. And how they do it might be just as good as how I do it. But it might be better. It might be better for you to follow their advice because they are doing it different than I am and they're still successful. And they might be able to get some intent, might be able to help you in a way that I wouldn't see. You know what I mean? So that's why that, and most importantly, ask for help. Okay. Things are acceptable breaking your schedule. Police, fire, ambulance, atomic bomb, and broken bone. Anything outside of this does not break your schedule. What if my kid has a book assignment they have to do and I got to watch them read it? No. Have your kids sit and read the book while you're working out, while you're prepping your meals, while you're doing your stuff. You do not need to do those things. In fact, by doing those things, you are preventing the people that are breaking your schedule from being able to not only have their own discipline, but being independent. You're robbing them of their independence. Imagine this. Imagine if, and you're going to be like, this sounds amazing, but I promise you it's not. Imagine if I made all your meals for you. I planned them. I prepared them. I grocery shopped them, and then they just showed up at your house. You'd be like, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. And I'll do this forever. What happens if I quit? Or I'm sick? Or I'm on vacation? Then what do? You're screwed, right? What if I stop doing this? I do something else with my life. I don't know. I don't foresee myself doing that, at least for the next 5 years or so. But still, what if? Then what do? Well, you, my friend, are completely screwed. And so this is why I don't do that. I don't want you to be dependent upon me. I don't want you to be like, well, Chris said this, so that's why. I want you to know. I want you to understand. I want you to do these things so that when I'm gone, when you and I are friends or part as friends, and you're done with the program, you are healthy forever. And this isn't one of those that you lose it and gain it. And you're like, oh, that was awesome. And I go back to doing some other BS, right? This is the way to keep the weight off. I promise. Okay. So nothing breaks the schedule. Nothing. If it's in there, it's an appointment that you do not miss. Unless fire, police, ambulance, atomic bomb, blood on the floor. I forgot to put that in here. Blood on the floor, something like that. A kid's book is left at home for book library day, and you're in the middle of a workout and you have no other time of doing it. Sorry, kid. Looks like you get the same book this week. I'm not doing that. Not because I don't love my kid, but because I'm not going to be that person to go, oh, cool. Yeah, if you screw up, I'm always going to be there to pick up the pieces instead of you learning the lesson. No, thank you. Now, call that disheartening, call that me being a dad, and it's different from mom and dad. I don't believe so. I think that's just how the game plays. All right. Now, not tracking your food. Oh, I forgot. Takes time. Didn't have my phone on me when I'm about to eat, whatever it might be. Okay. Here's how we combat those. Unforget. Remember what you ate. Or put it in ahead of time because you already know what you're eating, because you already planned it beforehand, because you can pre-log everything. You can put everything that you already planned right into MyFitnessPal. You don't have to use the Meal Planner 3000. You don't have to use pen and paper. You don't have to go from note to text to paper to MyFitnessPal. You can put it right directly in that bad boy. And then if you're doing A/B, copy Monday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Friday. And then you look at MyFitnessPal and go, oh yeah, that's how much I'm eating of that thing and that this meal. Next one, takes time. Yep, you're right. It does take time. Didn't have my phone on me when I'm about to eat. Yeah, just refer to the first thing. Working on your health and fitness today takes time. Fun fact, it takes time that you would otherwise spend later with interest and force. So you either do it by choice and invest today, or pay the price later. Because you want your lifespan and your health span to be equal, right? So spend the time today so that you're not forced later. As in, if you don't lose weight, you're gonna die. You got medications, now your body's damaged, and it's not reversible, but it's so much better to prevent than to try to cure. It's so much better to go, I don't have high blood pressure because I've done these things. Then you have high blood pressure. Now all of your veins and all your blood vessels are all then pounded with so much pressure that now you hope they recover. And that you don't have high blood pressure for so long that left ventricle, the part of your heart that pumps the blood, is now hypertrophied. It's big to where now you don't have enough blood that gets in there. And you literally suffocate because you cannot get enough blood to move around your body. That is called congestive heart failure. Irreversible, because you cannot make your heart weaker. Your heart is your heart, and it is strong as it is. And so if your heart needs to pump syrup through your body, it's going to get stronger because that's how hypertrophy works. Force over time and a lot of pressure versus having clear veins and arteries, having your aorta clear. And it's just pushing stuff fast and a lot. That's cardio. We don't want our heart to be big and jacked. We want it to be nice and small and strong, but not powerful. Okay? Spend the time today. Now, not measuring. All right, now I'm not measuring my food. I'm not putting it on the scale. Well, that takes time. I'm rushing out the door. I'm just grabbing something. At the restaurant, not really sure what to do. All right, so let's assume that. Let's assume it takes time. And we'll assume it takes 10 seconds for you to measure your food. I think that's way too long. I think you putting it on the scale after you turn it on is instantaneous. It's 30 seconds. It's not 30 seconds, excuse me. 3 seconds. But let's assume it's 10. Okay? And then let's assume every ingredient that you have to weigh that you didn't already do beforehand because you didn't already plan your meals, you already didn't prepare them, they're already not in the containers. All you gotta do is eat it, reheat it, and eat it. Okay? Let's assume all that's not true, even though it probably is or should be. Let's assume it's not true. Let's say there's 5 ingredients in every single meal that you eat, 3 meals per day for a year. It's 3 hours a year that you're spending measuring food. 3 hours a year. If I told you when you first started the program, where you were in 10 out of 10 pain, hated the way you looked and felt, that if you spent just 3 hours a year, that would ultimately guarantee or nearly guarantee your success up until this point, would it be worth it? Yes or no? Of course you would say yes. Of course you would. You'd be crazy not to. So yeah, it takes time. Yep, takes some time. But it's time that is so valuable that you take, and it's just a couple seconds, and that's why it's like, that's not that big of a deal. Major deal. Huge deal. In fact, there's a video I still haven't made yet that I took 2 sweet potatoes that are about the same length. And if you go on my MyFitnessPal, look up sweet potato, one of the first thing that pops up says 1 medium 5-inch sweet potato. I forget the calories off the top of my head. I weighed one of them, the smaller one, because it just said 5 inches. That's obviously not 5 inches, but it said 5 inches. Weighed it. And when you actually put in the grams, it was double what the 5-inch sweet potato is. And then I put the thicker one of the 5-inch sweet potatoes, and it was double the one that was the smaller one. So if you were to eat a 5-inch sweet potato that was whatever their arbitrary 5-inch measurement of a medium sweet potato is, versus a 5-inch sweet potato that weighed whatever the weight was, off the top I don't remember, and you put this one in your tracker, you've eaten 4 times more than what you thought you did. Do you think that has anything to do with you not hitting your targets consistently, which makes your body not lose the weight and fat like you'd like it to? Yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, right? Rushing out the door. Well, if you have your foods planned or prepared already in containers and you already know your schedule ahead of time, you wouldn't have to worry about it out. You wouldn't have to worry about it because it's already set up. You're already done. Rushing out the door. Have your container with you. You already know. In the mornings, you're nuts. I mean, every morning you're nuts, you already know that you need to have your food ahead of time. You already know that. Don't keep making the same mistake. Okay? Just grabbing something. Don't. You don't need to eat for 30 days, so don't just grab something. You don't need to. It's nice to, but you don't need to, and that's the point. You don't need it. You want it. You don't need it. So don't just grab something. Have your food that you have planned so that you can get the best results possible. Because even if you're like, oh, I just grab something and it's just like an apple or it's just a banana, cool. It's actually 150 calories that probably is not going to go accounted for because you're not going to track it. And if you did track it, you're going to have to adjust the meals you already pre-made. You see how this whole thing can kind of spiral out of control because you're introducing a ton of different moving parts when they don't need to be there. Because we need to safeguard our process first and build contingencies around doing the things that are going to get us results versus going, oh, I can always just adjust something. You absolutely can. But if that consistent, I can just adjust it, you don't do, or you're not good at it right now, you're not going to hit your results, which means you're not going to get the result, or you're not going to hit your targets, which means you're not going to get the result, which is going to lead you to going, I'm just screwing up. I'll get back on it tomorrow. And then today you go fly off the handle. And then tomorrow your weight's up and you get discouraged and you don't do it again for a week. Or worse, you go and like, I'm just going to not track my food for a bit. I'm just going to skip on carbs. I'm going to do tons of cardio. You can do that for a week and you're going to find yourself in the same weight, if not a couple pounds down. And oh, look at how great I did. But then you go and now you've wired in your brain, when things go sideways, I need to go harsh and beat myself up over it. It's called the self-flagellation illusion. And that does not work. You cannot beat yourself up to success. You can't do it. It's not possible. So don't try. No one who's successful is like, yeah, I just talk shit about myself the entire time and that's why I'm successful. No, that's not what they did. Okay. Next, at a restaurant, not sure what is on the thing. Perfect. Here's some levels you can play with this. One is ask what's in it. And then add it individually into your tracker. You can call them ahead of time. Hey, I'm about to go there. I'm following the diet plan. I just need to know, I'm curious, what stuff is in this? And do you know about how much it is so I can put it in my tracker? Second one, use your hand to measure. A palm is around 110 grams or 4 ounces, give or take some. Fist is about cup size, and then the thumb is 2 tablespoons. Now, all of these, we have different hands. Some people have giant hands. Some people have small hands. So overestimate slightly on whatever you think it is, so that at least you know if you're trying to lose fat, that you're overestimating what you're eating, so that worst case, other meals will at least make you stay underneath your calories when you're measuring them and weighing them. 3, look up the food, look up the item. Let's say it's a pizza from a local shop that's not on MyFitnessPal or not of whatever tracker we're using or whatever tracker you have that you're utilizing now. Okay. Look up the highest one, scroll, find a low one, find somewhere that's in the middle of what's on there. So if it's Supreme Pizza, you look up slices, one's 600 calories. Okay, it's probably not that one. One's 110 calories, probably not that one. Find one that's like 350, 400 calories and use that one, okay? 4, guesstimate using your balls. I say balls as in eyeballs. I call balls for my kids' eyes because I'm a child and I think it's hilarious. And I say, hey, close your balls and go to bed. And I just kind of chuckle each time because putting these kids to bed make me want to rip all my hair out. So guesstimate using your balls or your eyeballs. It looks like about, 6 ounces of chicken. At least that's what it says on the thing. That's about 1.5 cups of rice. They put a little butter on it. I can tell. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of butter just to offset what I think they might have put on and overestimate slightly. Okay. Or 5, don't eat. If you're going out to a place that you don't know what it is and you really, really are worried, you're like, I don't know if I should eat here or not. It might throw off my day. Don't eat. You don't have to. That's the fun thing. I've gone to many different restaurants, whether it be Panera Bread, which is, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's like a salad shop that has like salads and sandwiches that's considered healthy, again, whatever that means, but they're like touted as like a healthier place. I've been to Chipotle, I've been to bars, whatever, and I haven't eaten in many of them. They just don't fit my food for the day. And so I'll have a diet soda and just hang out and chill while everyone else eats. I'm not there to eat, typically. I'm there to hang out and have fun. And hang out with friends or family. And so I don't have to eat if I don't want to. And it's not weird if you don't eat. As an example, if you were to go to let's say a Dickey's barbecue, which is like cheese, macaroni and cheese and meats and coleslaw and all these things that contain meat products in it. Coleslaw, I believe, has mayo, which has yolk in it. Okay. So it has all those things. And you're a vegan. Would it be weird not to eat? No. Why is it weird then if you're trying to lose fat, none of your stuff hit your targets that you don't eat? It's only weird if other people say that. And you go, well, if I was vegan, would you treat me any different? The answer would be yes. So treat me better then. And you're like, well, if I would have known you do that, we wouldn't have eaten here. I'm like, well, next time ask. Or next time I'll ask. I'll just put it out there. Those are the things. Now, obviously, you get to pick which one is where you're most comfortable with. So you can ask what's in. You can, in fact, bring a damn scale and measure your stuff for them. Bring a scale. Me and my wife have a little drug dealer scale. Call it the drug dealer scale because it's like one of those little small ones. And we'll put a plate on it and we'll measure our stuff when we're trying to lose fat at really high levels. We don't do that anymore because we're like pretty good at where we're at. And if I'm trying to lose fat, I just don't eat out. That kind of solves the whole problem. Okay. But if we would, I was really, really like, I got to lose the weight or I'm going to, have problems. I would weigh my stuff. And then that'd be probably actually number one. I'd weigh my stuff at a restaurant and then everything else adds a number. Okay. Now, when we do all these things, you see how we're not building like, here's a fallback. Here's what I could do instead. Here's things you can do to safeguard what you're doing, to build an offensive, to stop these leaky pipes that are making you from eating that are leading you to not get the results you want because instead of fortifying the offense, you're just focusing on the defense. If this happens, here's my backup plan. Don't have a backup plan. Have a slight backup plan, but build up an offensive so that you're fighting to stick to your targets versus if you can't, here's something that at least gets you a B. Instead of like, hey, if we just keep hitting A's, we're going to be in much higher momentum. And that B is a hopeful B, right? Because if you're like, I'm going to go eat out somewhere, what if they're off? What if like the guy at Chipotle, like this whole thing kind of came from what a client was talking to me about, somebody in the program. They're like, I put these things on for Chipotle and I know I can go eat there because it's like chicken and rice and things. Like, yeah, but we're assuming that what they're putting on there is the targets that they say the nutrition facts are. I've been to Chipotle before, and if my daughters order a regular bowl and I order a bowl, they give us different size food. We're paying for the same thing. It should be the same, but it's not. That's why it's important. That's why we're doing these things. So we don't have to have a fallback. We have just an offensive. We know what we're doing. Okay. And when you do this, you're going to start hitting targets, which turns into a fat loss inferno. It has you getting to your goals faster than ever. Not by doing tricks. Not by us doing some magical thing. Not by a hack. Not by, it's just this supplement that's doing it. It's just that we're now fortifying things that get us the results we want better. And all the things that would get in our way, we've now built things to stop them from having taken place. So what are the main takeaways here? One, stick to the schedule. Schedule yourself. If you're not somebody who's scheduled, become more scheduled. Not that you have to be like down to the minute time blocking things. You don't have to do that. But you do have to go. On Monday at noon, I work out. So if somebody's asking for me at noon, they are at the gym with me, so then we can talk. Because I'm working out. I'm planning my meals on this day at this time. What if? No what ifs. None. And if there is a what if that you say you're doing this time, you would have already known. Unless police, fire, you're going to jail, atomic bomb, blood on the floor, whatever it might be. Whatever it might be. But the reality of that happening and slowing you down is almost slim to none. It just so happens that other people's BS gets in our way of getting results. So we have to stick to our schedule, stick to your guns. By saying no to other people, like I told you before, by me not planning all of your stuff for you is me saying, no, I will not do that. But I'm not doing it because I'm mean. I'm doing it because I want you to be independent. I want you to not have to rely on me for all of your success. I want to be the bottom of why you're successful. I should say, I want to be second to why you're successful. I want you to be first. I want you to be the one that got you there, not me. I just happen to be there to be to be the person that shows you the way, but doesn't do it for you. I want you to have the confidence and independence to be able to pull this off on your own. Because if you can pull it off on your own, you can keep it off on your own. And you won't have this problem again. Versus if I just did all of it, if I was like giving you everything and making sure that everybody who needed me, I always got to them fast and immediately, despite me needing to work out, hang out with my family, eat myself, make my own meals, go on vacations, do stuff for myself, I would never be successful. You would never be successful. I would always be at the whims of everybody else, and I would never be able to have a plan for me. And I don't want that. And I know you don't want that. That's why we're doing this. That's why we want to safeguard these things. And that's why with all this stuff, I don't want you to feel like you should be on the defensive and defending. Well, I didn't do it because I had school and all that. Don't do that. I'm not attacking you. I'm here to go, listen, if these are the things that are slowing you down, here's the ammo you can use for yourself to step out of the way of yourself, to not have to defend your actions, but go, I need to fortify the reasons why I'm doing it instead of having a fallback plan. Make sense? Hopefully you're cool with that, team. Anyway, hopefully you like this. I know this is a little bit impromptu, and I probably should have been doing other things, but I wanted to make this because I felt a need, and I really, really wanted to. Have a fantastic day. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.